should I be doing? What am I not doing? And that's the way I feel this morning. I don't know about Okwe, but any which way, like I said, I welcome you to the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus this morning. I have Okwe beside me. Okwe, it's a good time to say good morning.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about nature. With time, there are times where you wake up and as early as 8 a.m. the sun is already scorching, and then there are times you're also trying to find your way around. But I think more than anything else, for the people that are road users, there are quite a lot of people on the road this morning trying to find their way, probably because of the weather, because of the stress, because of the trouble. Please, if you are driving and you are moving towards an interjection or a point where people are, please just try and slow down. So someone that's already been drenched by the rain and then you are driving through and they are splashing water on their body. You just don't know how frustrated people are being on the road. And if they use that, Yoruba would always say, if they use the last one to say what's on their mind, you probably will not like it. Welcome to the show, by the way. It's a pleasant Monday morning. Funny enough, rain is actually my best time. I prefer rain to heat. And I've always told people, I can manage rain. I can cover myself, just like Tone did. I can come to the office and change, but you see, heat is a struggle. And by the way, you look really beautiful. Imagine if you wore this clothes from your house and you didn't have a car like me, and then you got drenched in this beautiful attire. It's a Monday morning. So much talk about. The weekend was fiercey and fiery. I'm sure the newspapers will give us so much about that. 26 sitting House of Representative members across the Federation lost their bid to return in 2027. Today is the All Progressive Congress senatorial primaries, and we're focused on Ogun East. The campaign people of Senator Benga Daniel have said, you know what? Pull out, my supporters. Don't be a part of that. We have so much to talk about on the show today, and you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good morning again, Nigeria. We begin with the program. We begin the program today with this video from it's Billy Kingdom of Rivers State. Is it Billy or Bile?
Bali.
The Bile Kingdom of Rivers State. It is time the relevant authorities come to their rescue as quickly as possible. And so we're calling on the relevant authorities, to come to the rescue as quickly as possible. We will be showing you this video. We'll ask the operations director, to put it right on screen right now. And then we will be back after that.
If you go around now, you see gas bubbling from around, in and around the community. We have written to NOSRA. We have written to several federal ministry of environment. We have written to NNPC OML 18. We have written to New Cross Exploration and Production Limited. We have written to Rivers State Ministry of Environment. We have written several letters, even to the National Security Advisor. And then most times, since November, they have come severally to carry out different kind of take samples for tests and all that. But from November to now, nobody has come to tell us that this is the actual cause of this problem, or this is the solution to this problem. Our fears are that let it not come to a stage where they will say, okay, we want to relocate you. You can observe that if you cross from Port Harcourt to Bile, there are no strong land. We are surrounded by river. So if today they want to relocate us, where would they take us to? We have pleaded with the government to come to our aid. That look, this gas bubbling, for us as laymen, we don't know the danger. We have been inhaling them. Tomorrow, some of our people will have problems like cancer, respiratory problems and all that because of these activities. So we have written several. We are still pleading with the federal government. Up till now, we don't know no results. I don't know whether they want us to die, all of us to die before they will come to our aid. It's so pathetic. Just because we don't have people in the government. Otherwise, we need a quick response for this, particularly this gas that is bubbling. Because for us, we don't know which of the gas that is coming out. We learned that there is a carbon dioxide among the gas that are coming out, which is also dangerous for human health. The greater challenge we have is electricity and pipe-borne water. Portable water for our people to drink. If you go around the community, you observe that we are taken from a dugout well. And seasons like this, with all the population, the wells eventually get dry and getting water becomes a problem. So, majorly and urgently, the Bile people need a potable water to drink. Bile happens to be a host community of most of these multinational who have two big marginal oil fields. They are about OML 24. And the Bile one, OML 18 oil fields. In fact, some of these wells were founded just immediately the first well in Oloibiri, 1958. So, for a very long time, Bile has been a host to multinational company. But you can see, most of the development you're seeing are development from a self-help. But because we don't even have people in the government, we are ignored most times.
Well, you're welcome back, Okwe. Your thoughts. You watched the video, and I'm happy that you are the one who has the details, the in-depth report of what's going on, So I think you'll be the best person to discuss this.
It's quite unfortunate, and I really feel for the people of Bile Kingdom. It's, sometimes when you look at the causes that blessings come with, well, let me explain what I mean. The oil in the Niger Delta is supposed to be a blessing to these people. It's supposed to be, a source of, how do I put it now, welfare for them. But it's been a problem. I think a couple of years back, I had something to do in Bayelsa. And then I found out that, as at then, I don't know how the thing is now, that 80% of the bottled water or sachet water they drink in Bayelsa is being produced in Port Harcourt, and they bring it into Bayelsa because of how bad, it is right there. You can't dig borehole, you can't do a lot of those things. And when I saw that video on Thursday, in fact, I saw the supreme leader of the Bile Kingdom, he used this bottled water container to fetch a liter of that, and then he covered it, placed it on the ground. Within 30 seconds, that water had turned black. And that's what the people of that community, apart from the air they are inhaling that is already polluted, the water they are drinking, their farms are polluted, the animals are getting killed. They cannot go to their farms. The only thing they're asking the government is, come and look at what is going on. We saw videos of bubbles coming out from the ground. And look at the color of that water. And so when you have a community that can barely even, get water, as simple as water, in a river, Yoruba would always say that that's what is happening to the people of Niger Delta. And when I saw that video, I felt really bad. Like, how much more have they had to keep quiet before they got to this point where they are? How much more have they had to, endure before it got to the point where they had to reach out to the government and say, please, government, come and rescue us. Come to our rescue. What is supposed to be a blessing is looking more like a curse to us.
Well, we hope that the government will intervene, the appropriate authorities will take charge and, help the people of Bile, so that they will stop suffering. We all know that water is an integral part of nature. Without water, I don't know how we will exist. In fact, our body is made up of a lot of water, water and blood. And so we need, this is very, very important. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think it's an SOS message to any authority, that's in charge of Bile. Please hurry up and rescue these people. they need to drink water, and if that's the only water they can drink, then we're talking about in the very near future recording
suicide,
recording a lot of deaths
Exactly.
from that place. So we need to be careful. All right, it's time for us to look at the newspapers right now. But Okwe, I'm sure you'd like to start today.
Yes. Let's go through what. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I can steal your favorite newspaper from you.
Don't.
Okay. So let me start from Vanguard, I guess. And Vanguard is reporting a fertilizer plant. Dangote vows to ensure food security in Africa. That is coming from page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. Pencom plans jumbo pension for police. As power sector, biggest scam in Nigeria. That is coming from the chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero. He says the power sector is the biggest scam in Nigeria.
I'm sure he's saying that because something has hit him too.
Yes, now. Maybe they have removed him from the dining table. 1 year into OPE's 1.2 billion 10-year scholarship initiative. What next? I find out on page 17 of the Vanguard. Manufacturing export stagnates despite rising trade volume. Yes, we have trade volume, but we don't have so much to export. Ebola. NDDC activates emergency surveillance as World Health Organization declares international emergency. I saw the story this weekend.
In fact, I heard it too.
And in Congo, I think we were having the conversation last week.
Just last week. Yes.
And all of that. Well, Ebola had never left Congo. Let's get it on. They've had cases of 1, 2 in certain regions. The isolation has been going on for so many years in Congo. I think now there's a breakdown. And the last update I checked, there are like 40 people have been down now with Ebola in DR Congo. And because of how there's migration within Africa, it is very important that we need to activate emergency code. I'm saying it. We're having suspicion around antivirus. Now we're talking of Ebola. Well, it looks like the NDDC is on top of this situation as they've activated emergency surveillance to caution movements in and around the country. Kidnappings. Senate vows to fast-track save state police as Inspector General of Police visits Oyo. Have you seen those videos?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
I was sleeping all weekend.
So, the Orire local government in Oyo State. So when they say, northeast problem, north central problem, it's home already. Oyo State is no longer safe.
Oh, is it the Ogbomoso?
The Ogbomoso axis, yes.
Yes.
I really feel for them. I've seen video of the principal of the Orire local government. I've seen videos of one of the women. And I think this is where we need to ask fundamental questions about governance and human face. And the presidency is here to make a statement 4 days after the abduction. I watched the Oyo State Governor Shema Kine yesterday confirming that 1 person had been killed, 7 teachers were abducted, and unspecified number of students also abducted.
Yeah.
So the videos are coming out. The principal had spoken, one of the women.
Who's releasing the videos? The videos of as at the time when they were being kidnapped?
No, from the kidnappers then, they forced them to make videos to appeal to the government, appeal to Christian Association of Nigeria, appeal to Oyo State government and 1 million Nigerians to come to their rescue. Well, they also report that the guys are trapped, do you understand, in the forest because Amotekun people have surrounded the forest. So, I don't know, I hope they won't use those people as human shield and find a way to escape. But it's really disheartening. I saw one of the spokespersons of the president, Bayo Ononuga, someone that I respect so much, are talking about the politicization of this abduction and kidnapping. And I'm worried. 4 days, not a single statement from the presidency.
So what word do you really want to use? Someone you respect so much or someone you respected so much? Are you still respecting?
I still respect him because
so
in
I
line
just
of
wanted
this
to clarify.
job, you know, people would leave this appointment and they will meet again on the street. So we'll have to uphold that respect. But when you look at people like that, people that mentored some of us coming into this job, and they are saying some of these things, and you question how you allowed yourself to be mentored by such individuals in the first place. I'm really disappointed as how we are handling this Ibadan, this Ogbomoso kidnapping. Small children. There's a woman that backed a baby. In fact, there's an unconfirmed video that one of the abductees have been beheaded. And it's disturbing. It is disturbing. And everybody's running around because of election. Nobody's saying anything about Nigerians.
You know, when it comes to children, you just killed me. You just demoralized me.
I'm glad you didn't see the video. I'm glad you've not seen the video.
Okay, truth is, we need to get serious and stop playing politicking games. People have been abducted, children who are helpless. They can't do anything to help themselves, even if they wanted to. And nobody's saying anything. They have teachers. You said teachers were abducted as well.
We don't even know the number of
were
students
abducted
yet.
as well. The teachers can't help themselves. How will the children help themselves? The government is supposed to be helping the teachers and the children, looking after all of us, you know. That's supposed to be your prime priority, taking care of, you know, our safety, your safety of life, safety of property. You know, all of that has been, you know, it's gone with the wind. It's been thrown out, you know, out of the window, and nobody's caring anymore. Somebody said to me that, oh, that your voice is always very strong, you know, on the program. Said it in a very subtle and polite way, you know, and all of that. Perhaps I always sound a bit too stern. I don't know how to do any better, but I will learn the ropes, you know. But when something hurts and, you know, hurts deeply, you have to say it the way it is. And, you know, this is coming from a female. There's really no hiding place for a goldfish. So I'm going to just throw it out there. Listen, Nigeria, if you want to throw away the baby and the bathwater, then just come out and make an announcement and let people know that that's the situation. You're speaking from both sides of your mouth. When it comes to election time, who's going to stand there to vote for you? The people, the same people you've neglected. Nigerians, I really, really wish Nigerians could learn. I don't pray that we learn the hard way, but it's time.
We're learning the hard way already. People are getting killed.
Are you sure we're learning?
Nothing can be harder than that.
But are you sure we're learning? That's the thing. Are you sure we're learning? Are you sure we're learning? Because already people have started collecting rice. Are you sure we're learning? That's the problem. You see, so sometimes when we sit down here and get so worried and emotional, you know, sentimental and angered, and, you know, all the emotions just start to flow, we have to do a self-check, because the people that we sit down here to fight for seem to be very satisfied. But honestly, it's a wake-up call for those who are who are politicking right now. Things are happening in Nigeria that could make or mar the elections that you're working so hard for, that you so desire to win. Well, that's just a reminder in case we didn't realize.
Yeah, let me just wrap it up on the Vanguard. APC primaries, powerful reps among 50 losers. Mutu Gagdi, Etaba Ionvere, others miss out as Speaker Abbas deputy, others secure return tickets. So there's an advertorial, a sponsored advertorial on the Vanguard, and it says, from activism to power, why Nigerians are standing with President Tinubu again, 2027 to 2031. That's why I said it is sponsored advertorial, but you may want to check that out. And let's check the Punch.
All right, from the Punch newspaper, they're above the nameplate primaries. APC reps fight back after ticket losses. The writer for that story is 26 serving lawmakers crash out. House leader, others reject exercise and threaten lawsuit. Okay, so the APC has hitherto been sort of free of all these lawsuits. And so things seemed to have been moving smoothly. I've told Ope on this table that in Nigeria, any and everything can happen at any time. Okay, so let's just watch as it unfolds. Nigeria not in debt crisis, but doesn't have to borrow. And this coming from experts. Highlight other options. NLC pushes for fresh wage review as 70,000 implementation crisis worsens. Accuses 17 states and federal capital territory of non-implementation of current minimum wage. Okay, the banner headline for which newspaper?
You're reading Tribune.
I'm reading the Nigerian Tribune. And Akwe just sat and was smiling.
I didn't want to distort your flow.
Okay.
We'll come back.
We'll come back
just
to
get done with the show. Finally, I took the point. You see, you didn't want me to take it initially.
Did you already take it?
I'll be taking it now. You have taken through
All right. As APC holds Senate primaries today, Ogun East, Kwara Central, Imo West remain contentious. Senators plot return tickets. Daniel campaign organization directs supporters to boycott Ogun East primary. Controversies hit reps primaries as more candidates emerge. All right, still on the Nigerian Tribune. Airtime lending freeze persists. Airtime lending freeze persists despite court orders and affects 40 million Nigerians. You know, this airtime lending thing, it's another business on the side. Though. People actually lend a lot of money.
No, but because
airtime.
And well, on the side, yeah, I think we've had reduction of conversation on social media now because a lot of people can no longer buy airtime or data. So they've reduced how they rant on social media. That's just on a lighter mode, actually. But if the court is telling the telecommunication companies that you have to, reinstate this service, because and they are the one benefiting, because if you borrow, you are paying back. You pay a certain percentage on top of it, and if you don't pay back, you cannot borrow more. And the court is saying that go back into it. You brought up this service in the first place. Over 40 million Nigerians reportedly affected now. People are begging, please let us be able to borrow data again.
But honestly, it actually tells the level at which we are.
Yeah.
Do you know that I didn't even know that they used to borrow? I'm just telling you. I didn't even know. So the thing is, it's like magic to me.
A friend of mine came for dirty December for 2024.
Oh, sorry, they used to lend. Let's not use the wrong language. The wrong word. They're lending.
Okay.
They're borrowing. They're borrowing, yeah.
So we're having a conversation, and I wanted to make a quick transfer. So on one of the network I used, there was no, on one of the service provider, there was no network because of where we were on the island. So I was like, I don't have money on this, my other SIM, because it's not active, but let me borrow. So he looked at me and was like, borrow? I said, we borrow data in Nigeria. Because I couldn't buy airtime from my account on the other phone. So I had to borrow on this. I was like, So quickly, I quickly did like small 200 so that I could connect my hotspot with the other phone. And I did. And I was like, people are enjoying it. And I'm like, do you call that enjoyment? It's poverty.
It's poverty, oh.
It is poverty.
It's poverty at its
worst stage. It is poverty.
At its worst stage.
And it's affecting over 40 million Nigerians.
Because they are even now begging.
They are begging that they should reinstate. The court has given the instruction, and the court has given the judgment that they should return the body. Telecom providers are not. They're not buying it, because I think a lot of Nigerians have not paid. So what people do, people have multiple SIM cards. Once they borrow from this one, they dump the SIM card, they go into another one. So the telecommunication companies are also not being able to get back.
So these are some of the things that they should have, when they were strategizing, they should have thought about all these things. This is Nigeria. Nigeria that closed the People's Bank. People's Bank.
Their own bank. People's Bank.
People's Bank. Many years ago, Nigerians closed the People's Bank, folded up in no time. Honestly. Saudi authorities declare May 26th, Arafat, May 27th, Eid al-Adha. Okay, so Bank of Industry secures $200 million financing facility from AFDB Group to aid Nigeria's industrial transformation. I'll take the health one first. Scientists reverse stroke damage using stem cells. Well, I hear that stem cells really work for reversal.
Yes.
Okay. Abducted Oyo school principal teacher in videos appeal for rescue of students and teachers. Police subject viral videos to forensic analysis. Yoruba land now under siege. Afenifere raises alarm. Nudges Southwest governors on attacks in Oyo, Ekiti, Ogun, Ondo, Kwara. Oyo Deputy governor visits community and says security agencies on top of situation. You see, sometimes the way the newspapers write their headlines using abbreviations, it's you know it's really tasking sometimes. You have to know what this means, and all of that. Okay, so that's it from the Tribune newspaper this morning.
Okay.
We'd move to
Let's look at the Nation.
The Nation.
I'll reserve that point for you. I know it's your favorite. Okay, so let's look at what the Nation is talking this morning. Interest rate inflation top CBN's policy meeting. That is on page 19. Kidnappers of pupils trapped inside Oyo National Park. As BOI gets $200 million AFDB loan to support industrial sector. That is on page 3 of the Nation. Tough conditions for contract variation as BPP urges guidelines. Why the release of federal government's a quarterly budget report is being delayed. That is coming from the DG of the budget office. Dangote pushes for food security in Africa with fertilizer plants. And that is on page 19 of the Nation. And of course, the bigger headline, governors heavyweights gone for APC Senate tickets with the rider big battles in Ogun, Delta, Kano, Edo, Gombe, and others. Smooth sail for Akpabio, Barau, Bamidele, Abiru, Oshiomole, and of course, May Balabuni. With the highlights, Ogun East, Abiodun and Daniel. Delta North, Ned Nwoko and Ifeanyi Okowa. Delta Central, Omo Agege and Dafinon. Edo South, Ize Iyamo and Ogbeni Hiyama. Ekiti North, there is Fasui and Arishe. For Ogun West, there is for Gombe Central, there is Mohammed, and Delta Imo, there's Okigwe. So those are just the hot spots where I would have to look at the election. So I've seen a lot of that pictures right there. As so many governors wanting to come to the retirement home, which is the Senate for a lot of them. Wigwe's passing almost stopped Bayelsa power plant, says Governor Diri. Okay. Any story you're interested in, or just move to the Punch? I think we're overshooting our time already this morning.
Okay,
Let's look
so
at
I
the
think we
Punch
should
newspaper.
just look at the Punch newspaper. I think there was a mix-up between the Punch and the Tribune. And so I'd taken one of the stories from the Punch and then I went to the Tribune. Okay, so we'll continue. 63% of Nigerians want interest rates reduced, and that's a CBN survey. Oil nears $110 per barrel as Trump threatens strike on Iran. What can you really make of that? Well,
we've adjusted. I bought fuel on Friday for 1,327 naira. So I bought 10 liters for 13,270 naira. So when I did, and I made the transfer, the fuel antenna was like, but I think like usually I always give them tip at interval. And I'm like, the government has taken your tip. That's why I told her, government has collected your tip. I'm giving you the exact thing that is on this meter. Well, we've adjusted to it. And I think that's how much we need to understand that the world is so globalized that a world that we've moved on from, we're still having the effect of it. A lot of Nigerians don't even care about Strait of Hormuz anymore. Nobody cares about Iran and US and Israel anymore. But we moved on. But we are still feeling the impact. Now, oil had gone up to $110. That's more money for the federal government. It's a windfall. And I've been worried. What are we doing with the oil windfall that we're getting right now? We're still borrowing. Let's
not move away from the topic. Let's look at Trump threatening a strike on Iran. What can you make of that?
They should continue to strike. I'm only interested in how Nigeria is benefiting because we're an oil producing nation. We're benefiting. It's now $110 per barrel. Imagine if you are pushing out our 1.5 million barrel per day. Imagine how much we are making on that. And I'm asking, what is the government doing to make sure that this money, we don't waste it? That's my concern.
All right, still on the Punch newspaper, Oyo school attack. Senate Yoruba leaders demand action as distress videos emerge. While some people are doing forensic investigation, some people are worried and want to act. Abducted principal hostages plead for freedom. as police probe viral footage. Afenifere warns Yoruba land. Afenifere warns Yoruba land under siege as Alaafin, Yoruba Obas counsel others condemn abduction. Why are you laughing?
He's home.
Okay. Senate moves to expedite state police after kidnappers hold on to 87 teachers, students in Oyo and Borno. No, they shouldn't expedite. They should not move. They should just sit down there and be sleeping on duty. You know, we're talking about state police. We've been talking about state police for how long? For in fact, this state policing did not start this year. This start last year. This start 10 years. This start 20 years. This start with this administration. And even when the administration decides to now bring it up, isn't it the very on the front burner? It should be on the front burner. But it's still they're saying they no, don't wake up and smell the coffee. You know, nobody is begging you. You know what, Nigerians are they're even tired of even asking or begging for what what rightfully belongs to them. You know, so don't do it. You know, and as for the Yorubas, I'm glad that we are
now feeling concerned.
We were always feeling concerned. I'm glad that we have some sort of backup. Do you understand? We have some sort of backup. That's why there's an impression that these people are stuck in the because they feel that they've been surrounded by the Amotekons. So I'm thinking that as for the Yorubas, if they continue and work harder, I think they would have their feet on the ground.
God bless the memory of Akere Olu. That's the former Ondo State governor. If you were still alive today, I'm sure that the Amotekun will have been stronger, more institutionalized, because at the moment they are still not permitted to carry arms, so certain degree of arms as it is right now. And he was such an advocate of Amotekun, especially in the Southwest. And it says that if you cannot expedite actions on the state police, let us institutionalize our own, let us equip them so that they can continue to provide security for us. Yeah. Because when traditional rulers were abducted and killed in Ekiti State, we thought it was a one-off. We kept quiet. Now, the Oyo National Park is so big that it borders so many other states. And now that they've turned it to a kidnapper's den, Oyo State is here, is under our nose. We're joking with fire.
Okay, still on the Punch newspaper, Oti Labour Party reject Abure's 2027 nomination form sales. Dangote raises Ethiopian investment to $4 billion. We have a picture story. Ambassador of Italy to Nigeria pays courtesy visit to Polo. Nigeria fighters surveillance Nigeria tightens surveillance as Ebola kills 80 in Congo. Hoodlums rape Lagos sexagenarian to death.
Yeah, I saw the story, fortunately.
Wow. Federal government cracks down on unapproved contract variations of MDAs. Let's look at this hoodlums rape on a sexagenarian.
I saw the story.
What did you read the story?
Yeah, I read the story.
What can you tell us about it?
Yes, they went to attack a show, and then there was some resistance, and it's quite a pathetic story. It's quite pathetic, and I just told myself when I was reading in that we're a messed up society.
So they decided to rape her.
Yes.
They actually raped her to death.
Well, she died while being rushed to the hospital.
And nobody was caught. Nobody. And when was this? When did this happen?
I saw the story on. I think so. Yes.
At night.
Late evening. I saw the story on Sunday. That was yesterday afternoon. That was when I saw the story.
Okay. All right. That's it from the Punch newspaper.
Well, I know you don't want us to focus on that. And I actually don't even want to. Let's look at Daily Sun. 2027. PDP calms clash over nomination of candidates. That is on Daily Sun. Marketers fight Dangote over plans to block petrol import permits. Says Nigeria's interest must trump any single player. Dangote has gone to court to challenge the federal government from issuing permits to importers, saying that I've invested so much in this country, I have the capacity to take care of the demands of this country, and I want to be the sole supplier. He has gone to court. I have sued the federal government to court to say, listen, you have to stop giving licenses to importers. Well, monopoly you say, but then he took a risk, and investors are asking questions. 2028, APC faces revolt from trapped, disgruntled aspirants. Hundreds of aspirants decry imposition and deceits. Senate Okowa Omoagege battle for soul of Delta APC. With the rider, Shetima withdraws from Kaduna Central race, calls for party unity. Banks under pressure to turn 4.65 trillion capital profit into real growth. Yoruba land under siege. Afenifere raises the alarm as Tampan tax Makinde security agencies on speedy release of kidnapped Oyo teachers and students. As outrage persists over high parking fare at MM2 in Lagos, we have no plans to reduce the tariff. That is coming from Bicotner. Bicotner are the company managing the airports, or let me say maybe the owners actually. So they say that they are not ready to reduce the tariff, so you have to pay exorbitant charges if you want to park at the Muritala Mohammed Airport. So that is much on the Sun newspaper. I think we have the final one, which is Daily Trust. Let me join you on that journey.
Okay, so the Daily Trust, 4 days after Borno or your school children still in captivity. That's the shameful part of it. 4 days after, nothing has been done. No rescue operations, no professional, maybe I should put it that way, no professional rescue operations, no expertise.
They are still studying the video. No, forensic.
Yeah, one set of people are still studying the video. The other set of people are politicking. Akpabio, Barau, and 7 governors battle for senatorial tickets today. Nigerians spend 5.43 trillion naira on petrol in first quarter. APC reps primaries, irregularity claims, shocks defeats for incumbents. I'm sure you've heard some stories, you've seen videos.
Incumbents collect too. Even the one close to us here at Kosofe here, incumbents collect from Plateau to Kaduna. Even the man that had been in the house from, I think, Delta, if I'm not mistaken, that had been there since 1999. He finally lost his bid to return because the women in the community have consistently staged a protest, I think for the past 2 weeks, that it is only you that have been there since 1999. Finally, he lost. The Chairman House Committee on Navy, Right Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gajdi, one of the highest ranking members in the reps, he lost.
You've forgotten our own Desmond Elliott.
There's his own is still,
okay, that one is 20. Yeah.
He has been,
but we already have seen signs. The handwriting is on the wall.
He's still surging on, and I like his commitment. By the way, that's my reps member. I'm from Sule Constance 1. Although he has changed his SIM card, he doesn't talk to us anymore. And that's one of the funny part about the conversation. But again, I think it's a status quo change. There's nothing like governors say anymore. In Ondo State, 7 candidates of the governor were screened out or lost. So the people are saying we own the power. It is direct primary. It is no longer a delegate situation.
But I understand that in Desmond Elliott's case, there are threats that if they don't vote for the other person,
Barakat.
Yeah, that they would not get the entitlement.
So there's a huge politicization going on. If Desmond Elliott returns, it could be the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly because it's going to be one of the highest ranking members from that zone. On the other side, the people are saying you did first term, you did second term, you were thriving on the wings of Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. The third time, we were told, people were begged to step down for you. I mean, they know in all of this because I remember when he was running for the first time in 2015, we were part of the people that collated names for JAM students that he purchased form for. So, and that is where I grew up. That was where I stayed, And they are saying that you cannot go for the 4th term oh, the issues around Obasanjo's impeachment, maybe it's being used as the fall guy, by the way, but whatever it is, let the people go and get their mandate. Endorsement is part of the game, right? But at least let the people go to the field.
Okay, let's still on the Daily Trust. How terrorists killed 17 police officers and soldiers in Yobe. That's it from the Daily Trust, and that's how we round up today's edition of the newspaper review. We'll take a commercial break right now. When we return, there'll be more for you. Please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. It's still the Breakfast Express on MITV Plus.
From 11 June to 19 July, everything can wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026. Catch all 104 matches on 4 dedicated channels, live on SuperSport, only on DSTV.
You're welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Express on MITV Plus. JAMB University admission corruption. That's the first topic we're going to be taking on our discussion segment this morning. A Nigerian parent identified as Dr. Muyiwa Kayode has taken to social media to recount how his son, who scored 333 in JAMB and ranked, I think, ranked third on the medicine and surgery merit list of the Nigerian university, was initially excluded from the admission list, with candidates who scored lower allegedly gaining entry ahead of him. The story, which has sparked outrage online, details how the intervention of JAMB Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloyede led to a direct confrontation with the university's vice-chancellor and the eventual correction of what the institution described as an error of oversight. The student, who was nearly denied his rightful place, is today topping the class with a GPA of 4.85. Here are the screenshots of the tweet as seen on X. Okay, we thought we were going to share, some of those screenshots, but if they're not available at the moment, then I think we can just, move on. Well, you heard it. I think we should, discuss it. It's not something that is just happening in Nigeria. It's not just started. It didn't start 10 years ago. It didn't start 20, 30. Neither did it start 40, 50 years ago. Well, it's on the screen. I don't know how many people will be able to read what's on the screen, but the entire thing is right there on the screen, just as it was on X. Like we were saying, this is not something that started like half a century ago. And I'm saying this because I remember, there's somebody I know whose name was on the list for one of the higher institutions, and the next minute his name was removed from that list, and we had to go and find out why that name was removed from the list. I remember the same thing happened to my immediate younger sister, who's been out of school now for well over 4 decades, if you ask me. So I'm just, that's really my yardstick of measuring the number of years that I can remember that this has been happening. Yes, so this is not strange, Okwe, at all. So the system has been corrupt. And so little wonder we had people, like Fela, singing these things like he was prophesying. He could see all this corruption. We had people like Sonny Okosun. We had, prophets who would, go to the studio, to release their prophecies. They were not standing on the pulpits, to preach anything.
And there were
but they were preaching,
enjoying.
and we were enjoying. We didn't know there were prophecies, and these prophecies were being circulated worldwide. People would play these songs, but the in-depth meaning, we were losing. We didn't take these things to mean anything until they started to stare us in the face, until we started to see that these things were actually happening, until we started to marry what we were seeing with what had been sung, decades ago. And then we started to put a value to the singer, to the messenger, Okay, it's embarrassing, to see that, to even imagine that this young man could, have been sitting for JAMB for the second time when he was a potential waiting to top the class, of medical doctors. What do you have to say about
So
this?
we're hearing about this because the father of the boy involved decided to go public about it, or probably because he's maybe a bit privileged to have the contact of Professor Ishaq Oloyede that actually put the call through to the VC, and they said it is oversight. So I'm trying to understand, when they say somebody is on a merit list, their priority. That's why they said there's merit list, there's complementary list, then there's VC list, there's this and that. The people on the merit list are priorities. So how did you oversight someone, and then someone that had a lower score was being considered for admission? So imagine if the father of the boy does not have that connect. Imagine if the father of the boy could not come out to speak up. The boy will have just been at home somewhere, dejected, and thinking how his life has ended, and they want to write another jam. But he knows that he's qualified. This is the fate of millions of people being denied opportunities.
I hear you, but I don't know how could I have forgotten, to seize an opportunity. It happened to me.
You just remembered.
It happened to my daughter.
Oh, okay. I saw that your reaction.
Okay. I'm like, this is an opportunity to say. Okay, I cry. The only thing I didn't cry was blood. But as I was crying, I was more resolute that my daughter was not going to be cheated.
Into this one. Exactly.
And this is it. The story is this: she sat for the exams for law, for Babcock University, and I took her for the exams. And I don't know why, this kind of curiosity that I have sometimes. I just asked after the exams, I just spoke to someone. I said, what's really the cutoff for law? And the person said the cutoff was about 270 something, about 270 at the time. And I said, okay, that's fine. I know my daughter will make it. And the person said to me, it's not as easy as you think. It's not as easy as you think that, people hardly get to that cutoff mark. That's usually very difficult. But I wasn't ready to argue with her, so I left. So now, my daughter was now admitted for international law in Babcock University. And a classmate of hers, who apparently was her best friend, was admitted for the same course. So on the day of the valedictory service, I saw the father and I congratulated him. I was going to accept the international law. And then I congratulated the man and I said, congratulations, I hear your daughter has been taken for international law as well. He said to me, my daughter missed the cutoff by just 1 point. I have 3 other children in that school. I'm going to see them. They must give me concession. They must allow her to study law. That was the rude awakening that I had. And all of a sudden, they stopped, talking to my daughter. The next thing, we went to the school. My daughter fell ill, and we went to the school to register her for international law in absentia. And then I asked her classmates who were studying other courses, where is this particular person? I'm not going to mention names. They said, that she's in the law department, that she's studying law. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Studying law? My daughter beat her, clearly. Should have been there on merit. And I said, if she's studying law, my daughter must study law.
And that's where we draw the curtain.
That's where the whole wahala started.
Ooh la la.
It was not a joke. I was going, in a day, I would go from Babcock and come back to Lagos like 3 times.
In a day?
In a day. I said this one is, no, I'm not going to. The vice chancellor refused to be seen by any parent. I got letters from people who could appeal to him. He refused to see anybody. So one day I went to the registrar's office, and while I was there, I was with a young man who had worked there, who was a student but was now working. And he said to me, because someone asked him to see me, and my eyes were red because I was crying that my daughter will not be cheated. If this girl can study law, my daughter will study law. And he said to me, that is the dean of the faculty of law. He too came to see the registrar, and he was going. Very neat, well-dressed, elderly man. That man couldn't have been less than 70-something or going to 80. So I let him walk far. Then I ran after him. And I said, sir, my daughter is about to be cheated by Babcock University, and I'm about to make a lot of noise. I said she got well over the cutoff mark, but she was not taken. And I know someone that got 1 point less and has been taken. I'm not going to mention names, but if my daughter is not taken for law, there's going to be noise. And the man simply said to me, well, I think you need to speak to, do you know any senior advocate of Nigeria? I said, which one, sir? And then he said, who do you know? And I mentioned a few. He said, you know these people? I said, yes. He said, tell them to call so person.
That's all.
And that was it. That's how my daughter got into studying law. So yes, it happened to me. And it's not pleasant, okay? It's not pleasant when you know that your child has got it up here.
And the system
is about to throw her out. This is a private school.
Let me hold your thoughts.
And that's why I'm not holding back the name.
The story we're focusing on today, for the people that probably didn't read it on the screen, let me read a part of that story.
Please go ahead.
It says, my son, currently in 400 level medicine and surgery, scored 333 in JAMB, but his name did not appear on the admission list. I was later told by the student that my son could be offered microbiology.
That's the international,
the
equivalent of the international
I told
law.
the registrar of the institution, point blank, that I've spent huge amount of money to get my son to this point of entry, not to become a medical doctor and not to become a biological teacher.
Yes,
or offer of microbiology. The registrar was so mean. She simply told me. Yes, the registrar she simply told me, we are very sorry. Microbiology is the best we can offer your son. At this juncture, I proceeded to JAMB headquarters, Abuja, to meet Professor Loyede, who swiftly asked my son's details, punched in details into the system, and everything concerning the university came up. And he says, Dr. Muyiwa Kayode, please go back home and sleep with your eyes closed. From what I'm seeing, your son is number 3 on the list of medicine and surgery in the institution with a JAMB score of 333. Second behind only 348 and 344.
Can you beat that?
So imagine if the doctor does not make that move to go to the JAMB office and request to see the registrar, or perhaps maybe it's not is highly placed. That's why I could have access to see Professor Isha Koloyede. What will have happened to that boy? Then there's a registrar saying that we can only offer you microbiology, when according to the list, this boy is the 3rd on the list. We are not disregarding any course.
Yes, absolutely not.
We don't say microbiology is not a course, so no. But we're saying, for the context of this conversation, the boy wants medicine and surgery. He's stopping his class as a 400 level student now, and I'm sure maybe the father somewhere is watching this program and say, oh, I like you guys for spotlighting this thing. And this is the case of millions of Nigerians scattered across this country. People that will sacrifice their life to go and write JAMB. Some of them are, there are cases of abduction now. JAMB students they are being abducted. Then they will pass. Then you now tell them that, oh, we cannot give you medicine and surgery. Come and do science laboratory technology. We cannot give you mass commo. Come and do religious studies.
We can't give you law. Come and do international law, which is the same thing as international relations.
But there are people on this same scale that did not score as much as these students, and they are getting admissions. So if you don't come out on the merit list, they say there is the supplementary list. We knew all of these things as university undergraduates. People that barely even had anything logical enough to show. Do we know how people at 400 level coming to tell them that they had fake admission at 400 level? Because they didn't go through the right channel.
And you see the thing that I don't know, the thing that oppresses me about the whole thing. If we're talking about, and it's not an excuse, but if we're talking about the government institutions alone, then we'll say, okay, there's, the system is corrupt.
The private institution is even worse.
The private religious institutions, because the school I just spoke about is a religious institution. It is a private institution. It is one of the top, private institutions in Nigeria. And I know what I suffered. This is a tale of woe coming from a victim. And I remember how I felt so bad and so unhappy. I felt so disgusted with the system. And I said, no matter what it would take, my daughter would go to study law. This girl, from the minute she understood what various courses entailed, she had said she wanted to become a lawyer right from when she was a child. And she walked on that path, she studied on that path, and she was about to be deprived. And then when I mentioned the name of one of the sons, and he said, you know this man? I said, I know this man. He said, then go meet him and tell him to call. He was the dean. Tell him to call the HOD. So I came back to Ikoyi, to Banana Island. And I went straight to that son's office. And I said, you are here. They're about to cheat my daughter out of. He said, what happened? And I told him. And he picked up the phone. I want to round it up. He picked up the phone. And in fact, that's when I knew that we had voicemail in Nigeria. I didn't know we had voicemail.
You dropped.
Wait, now, it entered voicemail and he mentioned the person's name. He said, Pemi Pada. And he put off the phone.
And the Pada
and he said, Tone, go home and sleep.
That was the same thing Professor Ishak.
And I went to, yeah.
That's
what he said to me. He said, go home. He said, go home and sleep. And in the evening of that day, he calls me, said, you're going to Babcock first thing tomorrow morning. Take your daughter, take all her things, and we'll talk as you go. And that was it. Why did I have to know somebody?
It's almost the same thing.
The same story.
Because the Dr. Muyiwa now said that immediately, less than 24 hours, the VC told Professor Ishak Oloyede that it was an administrative oversight and it was corrected. Even Professor Ishak Oloyede said, he told him that certainly, if this were to be in a sane state, they will send a vehicle to Ekiti to come and pick your son. Because he's supposed, now the son is having a 4.85 CGPA.
They always do well. Class. They always do well because they were students that on merit. You don't understand what I'm saying? It's not that they knew anybody. They went there, they sat for the exams, they understood what the questions they were asked, they had read for this thing, they were good at what they wanted to do, and they just delivered. So they always turn out, they always turn out tops in class. There's no way. They always turn out tops in class. The system must be corrected. And I'm not saying it's a Nigerian thing because it happens in other countries, especially African countries. But it's something that if we as Nigerians want to be leaders, it's something that we need to actually look into. We need to curb the excesses of those people. Now, can you even imagine a woman? They said she said that the best you could offer them
your son
was microbiology. What kind of woman? What kind of woman is that? Is that a mother or just I don't know what to
call it? The man said she was mean. And she told me
you start to ask yourself, when they speak about people like that, are they hermaphrodites or are they really, really women, feminine, in every sense of it? You start to ask yourself questions like that. Honestly, we need to change the system. And, especially the females, I don't know what happened to our consciences. You look at children, who have done well, and you are part of the system that is changing, that's attempting to change their destiny. It's a huge shame. It's really a huge shame.
It's because of stations like this, we start seeing half-baked university graduates.
Of course, they can't
even that cannot even write introductory letter. They can't properly introduce themselves because the right people were denied an opportunity to get to that place. And then the people that don't deserve to be there got that opportunity on a luxury, on a platter. And I think this is a strong message out there. I know the times are tough. It's not everybody that has a doctor or a father that can press buttons for you. But there are situations where if you're sure of what you have as a young man, as a young lady, right there, don't ever allow yourself to get cheated. The social media is so much for everyone to escalate issues.
That's right.
If you feel you've earned this thing, escalate it on social media. People will pick it up and they'll follow it up for you.
And fight for yourself, fight for your right. There is no age, that we should stop fighting. Yesterday, I got the news that, I'm a very proud alumnus of Federal Government College, Ijaniki, Lagos. Yes, I am, and when I got the news that, we had students that scored 361. I actually have, the figures, 361, 333, the same score. That this, and things like that. They their results were very, very good. Their JAMB results. Now, I'm going to just say something. On television, we had very good results. In fact, the list we had was 261, Federal Government College, Ijaniki, Lagos. Now, I want to say something. Now, if you are one of those who sits down, to change people's destinies, you better be careful. Don't let it affect. And I say again, don't let it affect anybody from my school because I will fight.
Yeah.
I
like that,
fight.
though.
I will fight.
I like that. Congratulations to all of those. I mean, 360 something. That's
361.
That's some good numbers.
Yeah, you know now.
People like that should be. They should have scholarships, on the table for them to even pick from.
Nigerians will focus on politics. They'll be focusing on people who are ready to dance naked, to sponsor people like that. These are people who should not even be asking for sponsors. No. These are people who, whether their parents are rich or not, companies, corporate bodies, organizations should come out and say, you know what, these ones we want to support. We want to see them through their entire educational career. But no, lackadaisically they will just sit down. When it comes to dancing naked or being in the Big Brother house, you will see the billions.
They will even tell you what they can offer your student. Your student wants medicine and surgery, but we are willing to change his destiny.
We will give him microbiology. He's not
good looking enough to be a medical doctor. We will give him microbiology.
You can imagine.
God bless us in this country.
May God bless Nigeria.
I think we have another story we need to touch real quick.
Okay, that's for you to take.
Before we leave the studio today. And that has to do with flight disruption and its effect on business. Passengers of Max Air have been stranded across multiple Nigerian airports since Monday, the 11th of May 2026, following a series of flight cancellation, repeated delays, and poor communication from the airline. Affected travelers en route Lagos, Abuja, Maiduguri, and Maiduguri, Abuja have reportedly missed examinations, medical appointment, and family commitment, with some waiting days for flights that were repeatedly postponed or cancelled, including one cancellation mid-boarding over safety concerns. A passenger took to X to share receipt of his conversation with Max Air. Let's look at this, and then when we come back, we'll look into this. We'll also open the phone lines and allow you to join the conversation this morning. So let's look at the story. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. You're still live on Mitv Breakfast Express, and it's always a pleasure to have you join us. It's the first edition of the show for the week. It's a Monday, and we're hoping that you're having a good time. If you're still trying to find your way to your offices, maybe you got caught in the rain, or you were rain-drenched like myself. By the way, my clothes are dry. Thank God for our technology in the studio, lights, AC, and everything. I think I'm starting afresh. All right, so we're talking about this, and I'm sure at some point, while we wait for the pictures to be up, you've experienced these delays. I mean, I'm not sure there's any air traveler in this country, except you fly on a private jet, that have not at any point in time had to make a complaint about a delayed flight, a cancelled flight, and a rescheduled flight without proper communication. And these things are affecting businesses.
Okay, are you asking me any
yes,
question?
I'm just saying that if we continue like this, we've seen, nations where airlines operators have been taken to court because of this. But in this country, there's this nonchalant, this lackadaisical attitude. I'm supposed to board a flight for 4 o'clock. I have a meeting at 5:30, and I'm still at the airport by 8 p.m. You don't even care how much the meeting I'm missing is going to cost me. Medical emergencies.
Okay, and I agree 101%. Okay, but you know that on this program, in the very recent past, one thing that we have done quite consistently is do the newspaper review. And in these headlines, we have seen a lot of complaints by, the airline staff, the ground staff, all sorts of staff, from the airlines. Now, it's good enough for us to look at what we go through as passengers. But are we looking at what these staff are going through? What is making the delay, become longer and longer and longer? There has been a lot of complaint about the Jet A1 price. There has been a lot of, and we talked about it, that very soon they're going to start to use substandard fuel,
and the risk
is really bad. And now when we talk about substandard, where they're going to be looking at using substandard things, even delivering substandard services completely, because certain things that are supposed to be in place are not in place, and there is no sight
that things will
ever get better.
They've been shouting.
You see, they've been shouting, they've been clamoring,
to the point
they've
that
been requesting.
Flight engineers
and the pilots have started to complain. All these people together have been complaining. So the question is, why have there been these delays? Why have there been these cancellations? It's just like you and I, Okwe. We are here on television. People can watch us. People can see us. But they don't know what goes on behind the scene. And we're not going to come on air and say, oh, this and this and this is what it is. But everywhere, every television station, in every state of the nation, in every country of the world, they have their behind-the-scene issues. And that's the truth. So the thing is that these workers are not telling the passengers exactly what the problems are. But are they facing challenges?
Yes.
Yes, they are. They have come out, they have complained, they have agitated, they have shouted, they have been angry, they have threatened, that they will go on strike, all sorts of manner of things to ensure, that everything is in place. But, these have been disregarded. Now, this is the only way to let the people in authority know that this change must come. If this change must not come, then business is going to ground to a halt.
Sure.
I mean, it is obvious. And, we did call on the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo. We know that, he's one of the ministers that have been working. His
numbers are good.
His numbers, the figures for us are looking good. But you see, they say that the reward for hard work is more work. And so we're calling on the Minister of Aviation to look into what exactly it could be, that these people are clamoring for. Have, an open door meeting with all the airline staff, their representatives, so that we can avoid situations like this. I don't think they really wanted to. I mean, and it's been on and on and on and on for them to get to the peak. You see, it's never been this bad.
No, that's what there's no airliner that will wake up and decide to sabotage their own business. There's no way I'll wake up and allow people go on social media and blacklist my company. I want to offer good services, whether I'm Air Peace, whether I'm Air Max, whether I'm Ibon Air, whether I'm this, whether I'm that. I want to, because all of these things are good for their ratings if people are saying good things about them. So when people keep complaining over and over, sometimes that some of these airlines too. See, I think the major issue is this. We understand that these things can happen.
But they should compensate.
How do you, exactly.
They should compensate.
How do you handle it? I want to go for a scheduled meeting. There are times that you want to fly into Abuja early enough so that I can get back to Lagos the same day, and then you delay for 4, 5, 6. I've been at the airport. There was a time I needed to go for a friend's wedding in Kaduna. I couldn't afford flights to Kaduna direct, so I flew into Abuja, and I was supposed to catch a train from Abuja to Kaduna. I didn't leave Lagos until 3 hours, 15 minutes or so after my flight. Train. I had to sleep in Abuja that day and go to Kaduna by road because the train had left even while I was still in Lagos.
Well, so what this teaches us, you see, from everything that happens, every experience should be a lesson. And so if you have any very important meeting, give it at least 24 to 48 hours.
Sometimes schedule can be tight.
I know.
Sometimes it's not
I know, but so when it is tight like that, know that anything can happen.
So imagine if I have to be in Abuja today, and then I have to come back today because I have to be on the show tomorrow morning.
So tell yourself that, listen, I may not be on the show tomorrow morning because my flight may be delayed.
Okay, I will not be on the show tomorrow.
So what I would
I'm
do?
telling you now.
So what I would do is I would call the team. I would put something on the platform to say that I'm traveling to Kaduna. I may not. If I come back, all well and good.
If I don't,
but if I don't, the show will go on.
True.
And adequate arrangements and preparations would be made. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's a lesson we need to learn, because these people are certainly going through, their difficult times. And I pray that all of this would come to an end very soon. Everybody's politicking now. Even our leaders are not governing anymore. They're politicking. So we are OYO on our own right now, but we just pray that in this space of time, that nothing bad will happen. Well, that's the way we are going to call it a day on the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. Thank you so much, so much for being there and watching our show. And thank you to the people who tried to call but whose calls couldn't go through because there's some network problem because of the rain. And we hope to see you and do this again tomorrow. Okay.
So let me use a few seconds to advise you. If you allow yourself to get caught up in a web of political permutation, you'd have yourself to blame. The politicians, their kids are not going to be on the streets today as the APC continues in their primaries. Today is the senatorial primaries of the All Progressive Congress across all of the 36 states and the FCT. Be careful. It is not your battle. Don't get caught up in it. My name is Okoyemi Akinode. It's been an amazing show, despite the fact that we had fears that we could start and the weather and all of that, but the show had gone good. Thank you. Let's do this again tomorrow.
All right, my name is Towadiri, and I always say that take a look at yourself in the mirror. Just stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself, what is it that I need to change? And if you find something, change it ASAP so that we can make the world a better place. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again tomorrow on the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. God bless you. Have yourself a wonderful and restful day, even though it's the first day of the week. Because the rainy day, some coffee and some duvet would do the work.
On Monday.
Well, I have a feeling things are about to change.
The new season of the Heat series